All right, all right. Hello, everyone. This is Turnerburner here, and I'm with CommanderCH. You may know him from dominating Gears Escape with score runs, solo runs, and various other challenges. Not to mention doing campaign on Inconceivable Iron Man, a trendsetter through and through. Commander, welcome. How are you doing, man?
Well, welcome, thank you. Has been a while I booted up the game, but doing all right. I haven't really played Gears for a while, but
Uh-huh.
guess I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hey, yeah, hey, thanks for taking the time. What is it? Now, you're in Germany, correct?
That is incorrect,
That's incorrect. Okay. Were
but
you
close.
were you in?
I'm
I thought I wasn't sure, but yeah. So where you? I guess what country are you in?
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's right next to it.
But what is it? My what is it? I took German in high school. Obviously, doesn't compare to complete immersion. Is that the main language in Switzerland? Germany? German or Deutsch, I should say.
I guess it kind of depends. We kind of like have our sort of accent, the Swiss German accent. So
Okay.
basically, it's based on the regular German language,
Okay.
but in general, the Germans will not understand us when we speak Swiss German, but the other way around it
Okay.
works.
Okay.
There's a
Gotcha.
few
That makes sense.
exceptions, like the guys who live pretty close to Switzerland, they will usually understand us. But
Yeah.
if you go like further into the north of Germany, then they just don't understand us. That's like 60%
Okay.
of people speak that language, I would say, the Swiss German language. And obviously, all of these
Okay.
guys can also speak German. And the secondary language is French. It's roughly
Okay.
like 30% of people speaking that. And then we have also Italian. It's more or less 10%. And then we have a
Okay.
very, very small margin that speaks Romansh, which is sort of like a Romanian-ish language in a way,
Okay.
but pretty much nobody knows about it.
Is it pretty so like as there's the only thing I've heard of that is of that nature is like in Canada there's like a basically like a French side
Yeah.
and is it something like that to where everyone's kind of like if you speak this you're like way over here or is it kind of intermixed
No, 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 no. It's
as
exactly
far
like
as
that. It's exactly like that.
it's okay.
So at the very
Okay.
south, like the border that like reaches Italy, that's where
Yeah.
the people speak Italian. And the border on the left or on the west, where it like goes towards French, that's where people kind of like speak French. And the Romansh
Okay.
part is on the east. That's kind of like just its own little bit. I don't know
Okay.
how
Okay.
that kind of like reached Switzerland, but I guess it's just one language. It's one official language
Yeah.
of Switzerland.
Okay.
So yeah, but
What is it? My it's probably been like at least a decade, but yeah, my German teacher uh told me that there'd be a time that came up where you'd be speaking to someone who speaks German because like I had severe senioritis when I was in. I don't know if you heard of that term. You have that term over there.
no,
You understand what that?
no.
Okay, yeah, senioritis basically means you're just because you're a senior, you start phoning it in. You are lazier. You start skipping classes. It's like this
Oh, okay. I
disease.
see. I
It's like
see.
this
I see what you mean.
it's like this disease
Yeah,
that
yeah,
like
yeah.
starts occurring spontaneously for no reason and you can't help yourself but just to be a complete loser for almost no reason. So it's just like you worked so hard, and up to junior year or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're just like, I just can't wait to get to college, I can't wait to get out of high school. So that's kind of I don't know if you guys are like that over there, but anyway, he said to me that like it's like, oh, you being lazy, it's gonna come up to when you're gonna talk to someone who speaks German, and then you're gonna regret being this lazy. So here I am. I'm not fluent because I didn't put in the necessary work, but that would probably require me to probably live in, I guess Switzerland or Germany to be fluent anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
But
absolutely.
anyway, so hold on, let me look. So how did you get into gaming? Just in general, like how many years has it been? What was your first like system?
My first sort of system was the Game Boy, and that's
Oh, I remember that.
been 20 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
About,
I
yeah,
think
I'm not
so.
quite sure, but it should be around 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Basically, I got into hospital because I had to kind of like remove these, I don't know the English term for it, but those things you have in your mouth that kind of like block the bacteria and all that kind of stuff.
I can visualize it, but I don't even know the English name for it. But yeah,
Yeah, but I kind of like had to remove those things because I couldn't hear anything anymore. So I got into the hospital, had those removed, and in fact, my grandmother gifted me the Game Boy, and that's kind of like how this whole thing started a little bit. Eventually, my sister won a drawing contest, or she didn't win. She got second place, and for second
Yeah.
place, she got an Xbox. The good old Xbox One, or the
Oh
original
man.
Xbox, and
Yeah.
well, obviously she didn't play, so I did. And yeah, that's kind of like how the whole thing went rolling. Eventually got a GameCube. I was sticking to Nintendo a little bit, and the Xbox 360 came out, and that kind of like just
Yeah.
went along a bit. So yeah, roughly
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Man. Yeah, I guess
Been a
it's something
long
similar
time.
for me. Yeah, like I think I had the Nintendo 64.
Oh,
And I
that's the one
played,
console I wish I would have gotten somehow.
what is it? All I played on that game, if I'm not mistaken, was Donkey Kong. I don't think I played anything else.
Oh wow, you missed on the
But
real good ones, like Super Mario 64 and the Zelda Ocarina of Time.
yeah, what is it? I've heard, not the last one you mentioned, but yeah, I've heard obviously Super Mario. But yeah, it was mainly Donkey Kong. That was just my thing. That's kind of how I am, where it's just like I kind of get locked into a couple of things. It's hard for me to, buy like a bunch of games at once or whatever. But yeah, then I had PlayStation 2. Obviously, I had Game Boy. With Game Boy, it was basically just Pokemon, and the different variations of that. But yeah, good God, I guess it's been. Man, I can't believe it's been that long since I just,
Yeah.
just thinking about it actually kind of drives me crazy. Just seeing myself. I had a yellow. What color was your Game Boy? Mine was yellow. I don't know if you
Green.
remember.
Mine was green.
Green?
Yeah, I got the small one, like the smaller version already. There were, like the very first version was pretty big. It was pretty huge, but they quickly introduced a smaller one. That's the first one I got. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
the game was kind of like a collection of 14 games together, or 15. That was pretty neat. I already had different kind of games to choose from.
Man. So, how'd you get into Gears? Someone introduced you? Did you come with Gears 1?
I bought the Xbox 360 Elite together with Halo. What was it? Was it Halo 3 then? Yeah, it was Halo 3 with Gears 1, I believe.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of, I think that's how I got it. And then eventually
the
I met
package
some
deal.
friends, and like even from my village, and started playing with these guys, got into a clan, played in clans, played PvP tournaments
boy.
and all that kind of stuff.
Man.
But I was basically just
Yeah.
hopping around between Halo and Gears, and I didn't really play anything else in those two games.
Yeah, back, what is it? I didn't come in until like it was like the end of Gears, like Gears 2, I forget when Gears 2 exactly was released, but I got it in 2009. I think it came out in 2008, right? I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember either. I'm not good
Yeah,
with
but
dates.
anyway, but I got it in 2009, and what is it? The only reason I got it so late is because my mom would not buy it for me. She just did not like. She just did
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like violent games.
Yeah.
It's just like.
And I mean, that
She
one
just
was
didn't
the
like
most
it.
brutal out of all the Gears games, to be honest. The Gears of War 2.
Yes, I agree. But the thing is, like, she didn't like. She was okay with. I had Modern Warfare. I had all of them. She was okay with that. But something about Gears, I guess, because of the. She even mentioned. I remember her complaining about like this. Oh, the Red Skull is demonic, super stuff. Had to deal with that. So anyway, but yeah, I was late to the party when it came down to Gears, but like at that time I only played PvP, but yeah, that was super fun, except for the. Like if you got a host in a different country, then it was just totally unfair.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
that
days.
was. Yeah, it's just like, oh, that guy has host, and like, and then if you had host, you realize, okay, it was like a guaranteed win. So so it's kind of like, but yeah, I'm glad that in Gears 3 they came out with dedicated servers, even though like I felt like they were late in getting that compared to like other systems. Cause I feel like Call of Duty always had dedicated servers, at least when I played. But yeah. So, how did you? So when with Gears 5, when I first was, when I first noticed who you were, whatever, it was like the barracks score run. I think you got like minus 214 at that time, and you were Cole. I don't know if you. I don't know. Yeah. I remember like weird stuff like numbers and stuff like that. So yeah, you were Cole at that time, and it was like as far as the people I know and the people that also did score runs, it was like a shock that someone beat the original team that no one beat that team. No. So what because everyone else was just kind of like, oh, they're so amazing. What possessed you to think like, oh, we can destroy these guys? Like what made you guys? I don't know if it was one of you or all three. I don't know.
Basically, I was still leveling up all my characters at that time.
Yeah.
And I met Lena Kansi somehow through the Minimax. I don't know if you know the Minimax.
That's how you pronounce it? I've never known how to. So it's Lena Kansi?
Lena Kansi, yeah. I think so, Lena Kansi.
Okay, I never heard it said. I've only seen
at least we always said Lena, so I guess it is Lena.
Okay.
So, but yeah, he was in a party and he was kind of like looking for someone to just do score runs with.
Yeah.
And I was already saying like, well, I don't have the scorecards maxed, so I guess I'm not good enough, and he just took me in anyways, and we started doing some stuff, and eventually kind of like all went along somehow, and I started playing Cole, was doing all the Cole stuff, and I believe FX Portals was usually the kind of like all-rounder guy who played just any kind of class, and Lena was usually the kind of like sniper in our team. Yeah. And that's kind of like how it all went together. Eventually we started having fun, started maxing out all the stuff. I was playing Cole anyway, so it didn't matter much. I got him maxed. And yeah, that's how all the things fell into place eventually.
Okay. Were you guys like aware? Because at that time when you got your time, I didn't know. At least I don't think I knew. I didn't know anything about the meat shields, the marking.
Oh, we did. Lena knew about that stuff. He was kind of like already following a bit what Beetlecorn and his team was doing, which includes Sir Math, who discovered the meat shield glitch.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how he knew already. And eventually, unfortunately, to be honest, on Lethal Engagements, we figured out this goddamn stupid glitch with this headshotting meat shield. That was so dumb. Yeah. I mean, at the time I felt like, wait a minute, that's actually great. But eventually we figured out how much pain that involved trying to get like the best score out of these runs. And that was a nightmare.
What is it? Lusted Lisk, and I forget the two other people he was with. You made their lives miserable. I think you both made each other miserable when you guys
pretty much. I know what you mean. You mean like I think the Mount is one of them.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot the other two.
Yeah, because I was talking with the Mount a little bit about it, like what he did, what we did, and we kind of like tried to figure out what we can do better, and eventually we just had to be perfect, pretty much.
Basically.
And that's what the huge pain caused, basically. Yeah, but that was bad. That was really bad that we discovered that. I still regret it.
Yeah. Hey, if it wasn't you, it'd probably be somebody else. You know, this is kind of how the nature of the beast. But it's like I used to have a problem with like the glitches and stuff, but I've kind of like I looked at it in a different way because like when it comes down to like exploits and glitches or whatever, I can't say I've never used one because there's been plenty of times in solo runs where I've used like 2 shot grenades to kill a matriarch, or like or like 2 shot grenades to kill 2 sentinels. So it's just like I think it comes to a point where. And I don't know exactly how every single game does it, but when these exploits are here and they're so absurd, like Cole's, melee resistance can be, what was it, up to 105% if you had Thrashball and Interfire on at one point. And
for
stuff
melees,
like that
yeah,
for melees, yeah. So like when it's that absurd, it's kind of on the, the people involved in the game, they'll be like, okay, this is stupid, let's get rid of it. but
I mean, it's literally what you had to do at some point to kind of like even get the scores somehow to stay alive, even.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't really consider that kind of like being a glitch or a bug. That's just how they tuned it, and it was just imbalanced. Just generally, I think I don't really have problems with glitches themselves, unless they involve some kind of like a third-party tool that kind of like adjusts your speed through a program, or adjusts the connection, the server connection, or all that kind of stuff. That's kind of like where the limit is. If people use third-party tools to give themselves an advantage, then it's actual cheating. But if it's glitches, then I just say, well, it's the developer's fault. They introduced it. That's it.
I used to, because you and I have like a bunch of back and forths on that. I used to disagree with you.
I know.
But like,
we had our differences there. That's true.
Yeah, but like, I mean, and I'm not saying that because I'm talking to you right now, but like, it's just like now I've kind of like and it was really during my break from Gears where I got to think about certain things that came up in my mind randomly. Where it's just like, he's probably right about that. Where it's just like, at the end of the day, the third party stuff, I don't know why they even thought of that. That I don't know. I find some of that stuff fascinating when it comes down to glitches, where some people like think of certain things. I'm like, how did you know that was gonna work?
Yeah.
but it just is what it is. Some people that actually kind of like ties into another question, where it's just like, when you find some of this stuff, is it just like what makes it come to your mind? Like I know with the so the headshot and meat shield is another thing that I know. I've seen you, I'm trying to think of a video a long time ago. I've seen you're using Marcus and you're on Forge. You like hopped on a cover in a weird way. I forget exactly the specifics.
Oh,
of it.
that one. Yeah, I know which one you mean.
Yeah, and then it's like there's the one with when you did Inconceivable Iron Man, you found a way to, I guess, like I didn't see the whole video, but I guess you found a way to die but still be able to stay within the same game.
Correct.
Like how do you do you just kind of like, oh, like this is gonna work, or is it an accident? Like what is that process?
Well, I can only tell from myself about the headshot beat shield glitch, because that's the only one we actually discovered. Okay. Anything else was already available. Somebody else figured it out, available. So I can't really tell how they got to that. But I guess basically it all starts if you have some sort of a competition somewhere. If you try to do something that's pretty tricky to achieve, and then you kind of like just start messing around a bit, and you try testing a few different things, and eventually you stumble upon something that kind of like makes no sense, but somehow it just works.
It just works, yeah.
I guess the general idea is you just have to think outside the box. Just do something that makes no sense, just try it. Maybe they messed up something and it just still works in your favor.
Right.
That's kind of like, I think, how you get to the glitches, in a way. But that's just my general idea. Basically, that's what happened with the headshot meat shield glitch. We just messed around and somehow figured it out.
Yeah, hey, makes sense. Whatever works. But yeah, the only thing that I even have that's even remotely similar to that like line of thinking is I was trying to do, and this was I want to say like last October. I was trying to do a solo pilot on Ice Queen because at that time no one had done it. And I was looking at all the available cards, and I was like, I saw rear armor, and I was like, that probably is going to help me in the Venom, like at least like Venom resistance in and of itself. And it's absurd. It's basically, when it comes down to Venom resistance, it's like one of the best cards. And you can survive like 3 juvie melees if they're all behind you. It's a very, if used correctly, and it helps the silverback in Venom, so it's a very good card. So I guess it's kind of similar, except it's not like a glitch per se, but it's similar to like thinking outside the box, I would say.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good example. Yeah. It just basically tells you, well, you have resistance when shot from behind, but it's not quite true actually. It's a bit different.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's the kind of way of thinking outside of the box. What I meant, yeah. Just try it. Maybe it works. Just go for it.
Yeah, I guess you never know. Yeah, so
especially with with Gears, with all the bugs.
Yeah, yeah, literally. Yeah, just even with the like Sir Math and the meat shield stuff.
Exactly.
They probably what probably happened. Maybe it was similar to your thing, but they may have just like meat shielded someone just kind of like because they normally work that way because it's faster than executing, and then they were like, oh, we got double the time or whatever. So, but anyway, I always find that stuff fascinating. Like, how did they even like come to that thought process? But what's your favorite, if Gears isn't like your favorite game or whatever, what would you say is like other games that are better or at least right up there? Like, I noticed on your channel you play Roblox, Payday, so what would you say is your favorite? And hopefully I'm not putting you on too much of the spot.
I guess probably still Payday 2.
Yeah.
Just because I put a lot of effort into the game.
Yeah.
Probably even more than Gears still. And, well, I had the most fun there, but it's just, I guess, personal preference. There's no PvP in that game, it's just co-op through and through, or you can play solo if you want.
Okay. So is it, I've never played it, is it like, is it like kind of like Escape or like 5 people? Like, how would you describe it?
It's a bank robbery game. Basically, you just start in a mission and you try to rob whatever is there. And usually it kind of like starts out with banks, then you go to kind of like thugs and try to steal their weapons, then it eventually just escalates, you start stealing nukes, and then you start stealing some meth stuff, and then eventually you just raid the White House. That's kind of like the story progression in short of Payday 2.
Okay, gotcha.
But overall it's just like trying to steal stuff, and you have 2 approaches. You can either go stealth, or you can go just straight in there, fire things up, whatever you want to do. And in my case, I was just completely focusing on stealth because I kind of like, I liked the little patient approach, trying to think the strategy through, what is the best approach and stuff. And I mean, if I want to fight something, then I can just play any other shooter game, pretty much.
Right. That makes sense. The extent of my Payday knowledge is, what is it? The guy, I don't know if you're familiar with Breaking Bad, but the guy who, I guess his character was called
Gustavo something.
Yeah, Gus Fring. Yeah. He's.
The dentist.
I watched like exactly, the dentist. I guess it was like a DLC or something, but he did this 9-minute or 10-minute like little teaser trailer thing, and I watched all of it, and I was like, "Oh, that's Gus."
Yep.
But
that's the same one.
That's the extent of.
Yeah, he's the villain of the entire story eventually. Basically, he's your partner at the beginning, but he becomes your villain eventually.
I gotcha.
Spoilers! Spoilers!
Spoilers for people.
Nah, the game is old. Can't be a spoiler anymore.
Yeah, that's true. What is there like a third one, or like
they're working on it. Basically, the developer had some financial issues for a long time, even though the game is pretty big. But so they're now working on it, and I think it should release in 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I'm curious how that will turn out. But I'm definitely going to get that one, yeah.
Cool. So for Gears, what advice would you give to new players that maybe, well, shouldn't even say new per se, but like I guess players that are inexperienced that like see solo runs or escape runs and they're trying to like get to that level where they can clear master pretty regularly or something like that, or even potentially do a solo run. Like, what advice would you give to those types of players?
Well, first of all, they just gotta work on like classes to get them to a certain
Yeah.
specific level. I would say if you really want to
Mhm.
think of soloing things, then just generally throughout all the classes, you probably want all the cards more or less around level 5-ish.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on the class, of course, but you basically want to understand how they work and what benefits they have.
Hmm.
And you only learn that by just keep playing them. Just keep playing the classes, keep playing regular matches with some other people, watch what they are doing, and that's kind of like the starting point, I guess. You just play a bit. Don't focus about
Yeah.
doing something on your own immediately.
Hmm.
And once you get a hang of that, then you should know how the classes work, you should know the maps a little bit, you should know the spawn patterns, you should know what is efficient against an enemy, what is less efficient. And that's kind of like how you approach them. And once you really want to solo something, then you just have to keep playing that hive or that horde map over and over and over again until you know exactly where they spawn, how many there
Yeah.
spawns, and which kind of like RNGs you can get, where
Hmm.
are the trigger spots, and all that kind of stuff. But eventually it all comes down to just repetition.
Yeah. Practice.
Pretty much,
I
yeah.
guess that's the gist
And
of
I
it.
mean,
Yeah.
if aiming is not your thing, well, play a CQC class, like Blade Master or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Brawler. Yeah.
Or Brawler, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree. I remember getting carried those first matches. Actually, I don't. My first Lonnie stack before I met the person who taught me virtually everything was it was so bizarre. It was like banana clip and a bunch of just random stuff that didn't make any sense. Venom resistance wasn't on. Venom blade wasn't even on because like my logic at that time was I don't want to be in Venom. The Venom's gonna kill me. That was my
Yeah.
logic. I was unaware of like it literally just means like it could be like a little bit of Venom. It doesn't have to be like thick Venom.
Yeah, exactly.
So like
I had
yeah,
the
but
same thought process as you did at the beginning.
it was, yeah, it's just like, I don't want to. I'm gonna die. So like, how's this card really useful? But anyway,
Yeah, good old
yeah, just.
beginning stages of Gears.
Were you playing Gears? Were you playing Escape since Op 1,
No,
or like
no.
what Op 2? When'd you get in it?
I
into
believe it was with Operation 3, if I'm not mistaken.
3.
I think
Okay.
so. I joined pretty late because I started playing it at the beginning a little bit, and it just didn't appeal to me. So I
Yeah.
somehow didn't like it, but I guess that's just because I didn't find the teammates who are actually capable of beating them. I mean, at the beginning it was really hard.
Right.
It was
yeah.
actually really fucking hard to even get through, and you didn't have your classes to a proper level to beat them on Master, for instance.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like what got me away from Escape a bit. But eventually I was done with the campaign, I was done with Horde. PvP sucked, so the only thing that was left was Escape. So I started getting into Escape.
Yeah, I only played PvP in the other games. This is like I actually like I played. I forget what map I was on, but I was doing PvP when the game first came out, and I was like, man, this is kind of trash. This is not what it doesn't feel right,
Yeah.
But then I got into Horde for the very first time with this game, so. Like some people compare it to other games, and I don't really have any context because I'm just like I've only played this PVE. Like if this is like better or worse, I have no idea. But anyway, I don't even know if I've seen any other Horde gameplay in other games. Like anyway, yeah, it's been a while. I think I may have like stumbled upon it in Gears 2,
Mhm.
but no other Gears is in
Yeah, I
there.
mean, those cannot be compared. The only Horde that you can really compare is Gears 4,
Uh-huh.
because Gears 3 and 2 didn't have the class systems. So you literally just had to pick up the weapons from the enemies and use those. So obviously the enemies weren't that extremely spongy either, but it was just completely different kind of play mechanic. You didn't have fortifications, I believe, in Gears 2,
Right.
or did you? Can't even remember. It's been
I
too long. It's been way too
yeah,
long.
I don't know.
I think in Gears 3 they introduced these kind of like posts that you could capture, and there you had fixed locations where you could buy barricades or sentries and that kind of stuff. You couldn't move them or you couldn't take them from a fabricator or anything. They were just there, and you had to get them wherever they were already placed. So I was working quite a bit different.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've played Classic Horde on this game. It's kind of
It's
I
weird.
don't like it.
Yeah, it's really weird. You can't even
Yeah.
compare that. It's just completely different. They're just here in Gears 5. They just make them super bullet sponges. In Gears
Yeah.
3, you at least had the modificators that you could turn on to give yourself a benefit or a disadvantage. And that's kind of like how you got through the higher tier Horde.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll put on Gears 4 and try Horde. Possibly, we'll see.
It's pretty
Probably not.
similar. Gears 4 is pretty similar.
Uh-huh.
It's just
Yeah,
way
but-
easier, way less complex. I mean, there's 5 classes, I believe, and it all
That's
resolves
it?
around speedruns nowadays. So you just go into specific locations with your specific class, and you just do a specific kind of setup all the time, and then it's super easy, and you're done within, I don't know, 1 hour or so, 50 minutes, I believe, something like that. It's super fast.
No speedruns. I guess speedruns have their place, but I feel like I feel like if people, I guess like what is the saying over here, like, you know, the cliche is like everything in moderation. But like I feel like some people like do too many of those. I guess if you have a goal of only XP or only leveling up, then I guess it doesn't matter. But I feel like they kind of make you worse. Because I know when I feel like there's a time where it wasn't very long because I wasn't like trained to do that. The person who taught me didn't even say like, oh, we're going to do this surge run. We just kind of played the maps on master, and then that was just how it was. And all of a sudden, my classes are level 18. But yeah, I feel like when there was a time I needed like a card for, I think it was Clayton at the time. I think it was Serrated Edge, and like I did like 2 days of surge runs, and I literally felt like I was getting worse. So I was like, yeah, I gotta stop doing these. But, you know, but,
Yeah,
you know,
the problem is, if you just do speedruns, you don't learn the hive, and you don't learn anything
Exactly.
else from any other hive. You just go through there, you do the same kind of process every time, very specific to
Yeah.
that hive, so you
Right.
can't really use that kind of stuff to anything else. That's
Yeah,
the
it's
problem.
overly monotonous, I would say.
Yeah.
It's just like it becomes, yeah, you're not even at that point. You're just holding A down. You're not even really, you know, thinking about
Pretty
what's
much.
occurring. So
Pretty much, yeah.
anyway, so a question, I guess that's really only to my benefit, I would say, is as someone who has I think you started your channel what 12 years ago? Do you remember?
The
I think I
channel?
looked this up. Yeah, your channel.
My YouTube channel?
Yes.
Oh boy, in 2008, 6, 8, something like that.
Okay.
But I didn't do much
Is
stuff.
there? But is there? Cause like I'm probably like down the road, probably relatively soon, gonna have to start getting into other games. Is there any advice you could probably give me as a creator yourself? Cause like the game that I am super big on that I'll probably get into like is chess. There's like ways to play it online. I'll have to get a different setup than I have now.
Yep.
But yeah, is there anything like, is there any specific thought processes when you upload different games, or is it just kind of like, this is what I'm interested, I'm just gonna post it, and that's just what it is?
In my case, it's exactly what you just said now. I can only say that I got super lucky the way my channel kind of developed. Because
Yeah.
I got into Payday the Heist and eventually just moved on to Payday 2, and because I was so focused on stealth, nobody else was doing stealth, so I was pretty much the only one. And the game grew insanely quickly. I mean, it's one of the largest Steam games, if not the largest Steam game. So that's
Okay.
kind of like how I sort of got off to all of these people watching
So
me.
you grew with it.
Yeah, I grew with
basically.
it. I was extremely lucky.
Yeah.
That's just my kind of situation here. So that's kind of like how
Okay.
people got to know me, and eventually, well, it just started getting boring, and I just moved on to something else. In this case, Gears 5. Now, in the meantime, this got boring, so I'm just looking around for anything else, pretty
Okay.
much. But I guess if
Okay.
you kind of like want to get to fame somehow, you need to find that one turning point of a game where it gets popular.
Which is kind of just you
get lucky.
you really don't know when that's gonna happen. Yeah,
You
you get
just
lucky.
get lucky, pretty much. Because
Yeah,
nowadays there's absolutely huge streamers and YouTube creators out there.
Yeah.
It's impossible to compete with them if you play a game like Halo now. It's just straight up impossible. If you go into it, you're just gonna get wrecked because they take all the viewers, and you're just going to be a little bit of a nobody there. And even if you discover something that might be kind of like a glitch or whatever, that might be super cool and super nice for people to know, these guys will copy you, and then you're still buried.
All the viewers, yeah.
That's basically why it's a bad idea. If you really want to become a content creator, then you just have to find something that just grows with its people. Or you just somehow, I don't know, have the characteristics to be entertaining and stuff. I guess that works as well.
Okay.
Which I am not.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, some people, something I definitely need to improve on is like some people are good at like creating like special thumbnails or special music that goes with it. So that's something that I guess I just need to elevate my skill on over time. So, but anywho, all right. So to finish us off, I have 5 questions, and I guess your first answer that comes to your head when I ask it. So, are you ready emotionally?
Sure.
So, what is your favorite hive?
Huh. Good question. Let me just check the list again. Alright, escape. Let's see. It's pretty difficult to tell which is probably my favorite. I would guess probably lethal engagements because it involves sniping.
Lethal engagements?
Yeah.
Is that the final answer?
I think so, yeah. Let's put it
Okay.
into lethal engagements.
Okay, lethal engagements then. Favorite Horde map?
Oh boy. Probably don't even have one. Favorite Horde map.
You just hate them all equally?
No, there's a few specific ones that are absolutely horrible. Also, I cannot judge the 2 new ones. I haven't played the 2 new maps, so I can't judge them. Well, one is from Gears 4, but whatever. But I guess my favorite Horde map is probably Icebound, just because it's pretty tricky to get it started. I kind of like the idea of it. It's a bit challenging.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, for sure. What is your favorite character skin, if you even...
Armored Foss. I guess that's
that was
obvious.
quick!
I guess that's kind of obvious.
Yeah, I see.
I changed recently to Anya because she has this stupid grumpy voice when she has this one specific emote. That's why I changed to Anya, but my favorite skin is still Armored Foss.
Yeah, Anya makes, like, she's very dramatic when she hops over a cover. She's like, "Hurrah!"
Yeah, exactly.
That's
And
something
there's one emote that reproduces that sound.
Yeah.
The loser
Super
it's
funny.
the loser emote, I believe. You can check it. You can look it up. I think the worst it is on for Sam, if I'm not mistaken. If you go to Sam and if you go to the emotes and then go to the loser emote, and you kind of keep swapping over it a bit. You
yeah.
can hear the little every time, and that's kind of like what makes this so funny.
Oh man, let me hold on. Let me get there. Actually, I'm kind of curious. Sam.
Why do you even bother?
And then it's expressions.
So it's
Loser
one, or
loser
just-
expression. The loser expression.
Sure thing.
Let me see.
Right when she points, she does this little "Huh! Huh!" every time.
Hey,
Do I not have that?
hey,
It's audible, right?
take it.
It's not an audible. Well, it's kind of like it's sort of it's like this epic skin that doesn't necessarily have to be audible. In this case, it is.
Oh, I see it. She's like,
Yeah, exactly.
okay.
And you
Oh,
keep
yeah.
trying, and it's just "Huh!" And it's the same for Anya.
yeah. Why'd you make so much noise? That's funny. I didn't even notice that. Oh man.
Oh, is it not?
What is your favorite Gears campaign moment? And you could do 5 or any of them.
Campaign moment. Gears of War 2. The scene where Dom shoots Maria.
Oh man.
That's in my opinion the kind of like most interesting point of a storyline. So that kind of like I still remember that one. Whenever it's like, what is your favorite campaign? Gears of War 2. What is your favorite scene? It's always that one every time.
Yeah. It's definitely it's shocking. It's intense. Yeah. It's
Yep. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like also the turning point for Dom, where he kind of like changes in character a bit.
yes. Yeah.
By the way,
Absolutely.
I just figured there's an even better expression than the loser expression. And
Which one?
This one is better to check on Anya.
Okay.
And it's called the where is it? Surprise gift expression.
Right.
This one is great.
See.
Take the objective.
You just have to watch the whole thing of the expression.
So, do I need to buy it? Let me see.
Oh, you might not
Maybe I don't
have it. Yeah.
Hey there.
I don't even see it blacked out. Greetings.
Yeah, I think you
No.
you got that one from the tour, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere. So it's possible
if
it's not in here
is
yet.
it from this tour? 'Cause if it's this tour, I probably don't
Possible,
have it.
possible.
Yeah, I probably.
I mean, if you want, we can just quickly boot up a horde and I can show you. Then you know.
Yeah, sure, why not? Oh yeah, you're my squad. Start it. Start a horde one.
I think you should hear it if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'll hear it if I'm like facing you or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main reason why I switched to Anya. I thought it was the loser expression, but for Anya it doesn't work. So it was this one, the surprise gift expression, that made me change.
While we wait for this to load up, I have one last question for you.
Go for it.
If TC asked you how to improve this game, what would you say?
Modificators. Selectable modificators for Horde and Escape.
Okay. More? Would you go like? Because we've talked about this like months ago. Would you go more modificators? Or
Everything.
Just,
You can just choose
still
everything.
7.
You can choose whether some type of enemy does freezing or shocking or whatever. You can just choose whatever you want.
Okay.
That's kind of like how you put
Hear that?
variety into the game.
I didn't
Yeah, it gets better.
I didn't realize so much energy went into.
Yeah, this one is fantastic.
So, oh my gosh, Anya's so enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I changed to Anya.
Oh my gosh.
Well, cool down.
So, all right. Well, that's all I have for you. Is there anything you want to mention in closing? Like anything about your channel or anything like that you're working on?
I don't know really. I mean, I don't even know whether I will play Gears anymore. Maybe I will, just to get the final few maps done. But, I mean, I'm not really interested to doing anything more because they already announced that they're not really bringing any more content. So I'm kind of like just waiting for the next Gears title they're gonna announce. What was that, in 2023 as well? Or 2024? They had it somewhere on the roadmap.
Time to fight.
Can't
I
find that
guess
anymore. But I mean, other than that,
Hope-
I just really don't know what I'm actually doing right now. I'm just playing anything. Just trying to find new stuff. I'm probably going to Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
But I played the flight and it didn't quite appeal me that much, but maybe the campaign is good, so I'll probably just still go for it and play that a little bit. And who knows, maybe it will bring me back to Gears sooner or later, maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah. I guess we'll see. So, alright, I'm gonna end it here.
Alright.
Alright, everyone who is listening, thank you, Commander, for your time. And if you have any... Yeah, thank you. If you have any questions for Commander, just comment below. And I guess, when he gets a chance, he'll respond. So, thanks for listening, guys. And you guys have a good one.
Yep. See you around.